Following the success of Motley Crue's tell-all book, The Dirt, Crue co-founder and bassist Nikki Sixx details his own no-holds-barred stories with the release of the Heroin Diaries, a year in the life of a shattered rock star. This book pairs diary entries written from 1986 through 1987 during Nikki's struggles with drug addiction, along with current-day commentary from people who were around Nikki during those grisly days. I'll talk with him about the Crue, the book, and what's next for one of rock's most notorious sons. I'm Mark Goodman, and this is Inside Track Nikki Sixx.
As long as I'm happy, the music's going to keep happening. You know, if a musician's not happy, the music suffers. So I think it's a positive thing for Motley Crue.
We're talking with Nikki Sixx. It's good to see you again.
You too.
After all these years.
Yeah.
You got this book out.
Yes.
The Heroin Diaries, which is a year of hell in your life. What are the Heroin Diaries for people who haven't seen the book yet?
Well, the Heroin Diaries are a snapshot from 86 to 87 of my actual diaries. When I found them, it was so long ago and such a different person. And I felt that if somebody was to read this, it would give them a clear picture of addiction and might just help one person. That's how the process started. The story didn't feel complete, so what I needed to do was go in and get everybody else's opinions or experiences at the time. So the band members talked first,
right,
and then ex-girlfriends, ex-managers, other musicians that I hung out with all the time. I felt like it was pretty complete, but something was still missing. And then when I got my mother and my sister and my grandfather to talk about that experience and also the experience of where I'm at now and where I was at as a kid, that's what gave me a lot of closure, because I realized that none of them could tell me what my childhood was really about either. That was the beginning of the addiction.
My heart's like an open book for the whole world to read. Sometimes nothing keeps me together at the seams.
You know, for me, it was, my mother was wild. My father left when I was 3. My mother left when I was 6. So I ended up with my grandparents. Without the roots, I felt sort of like a tumbleweed. I ended up back with my mother. God bless her, she's got a pissed off kid on her hands. Pissed. You know, I broke into houses, I dealt drugs, I was arrested, I got thrown out of school, fighting. I mean, it was starting. It was starting, right? When I left Seattle, I ran away from home, ended up in juvenile detention. I got out of there. I ran as far as I could run. I ran to Hollywood. That hole in my stomach, because it was never filled as a kid, got filled up years later with all kinds of other stuff. Then I realized it wasn't really filled, it was just kind of numbing it.
And you have this idea for this band, and you have.
I mean, I have drawings of my dream band, and it was walls of amps, and it was fire, and it was everything that was extreme. That was my idea.
Who did you meet first?
I first met Tommy. Then we met Mick, then we met Vince. And we were all extremists. We loved to drink, we loved girls, and we loved to cause trouble. And between everybody wanting to be the loudest in the band and pushing it the farthest and loving the idea of not fitting in, it was history.
Yeah, we like to have a good time.
Did you have this? I guess it was kind of like a motto. You know, the Motley Crue is music and girls, music and violence, music and
everything.
You know, we made a stand on sex. I mean, that was sex and drugs
and
and drinking and and excesses of life.
Everything that happened off stage, we talked about on stage,
That's
which
right.
made the off stage even more outrageous. Kind of made it real. The personalities in this band, it's volatile, and in a loving way. We have fought like no one would believe.
Right.
I think we're a unique band. I think we're very unique. We sound unique. I felt we had something special very early. With this band, it came so fast. I'll remember that we were playing a place called the Santa Monica Civic in Los Angeles, and it was unbelievable droves of people. They related to the angst, they related to the debauchery, they related to the melody, to the lyrics.
If kids, you know, didn't have something as a release, like Motley Crue or bands like Kiss, to go to get their energies out, they would be out maybe robbing liquor stores or getting in fights or doing drugs. And that's what we're saying that we're about, is it's positive. Come see us instead of beating up old ladies.
And it moved so fast. So we went from playing in little clubs to headlining Santa Monica Civic, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people in a matter of months.
This was great for you
It was
guys.
unbelievable. I mean, we loved it. It was Sodom and Gomorrah.
Because we're the bad boys of rock.
You know, there's always the women, you know, taking their clothes off and you know, tops off and
But that's just kind of.
but that's just part. That's
not even-
nothing.
it's
That's
not even-
nothing
it's
new.
not even
you know?
shocking.
Yeah, it's not shocking. It's like, hey, those are great. Thank you very much. You know, chicks making out in front of you, for you.
It's just the way it is. There's a part of drugs and alcohol that work for you. I'm not saying go do it, but I'm going to tell you there's an invisible wall that you can't see. I will guarantee that if you go hard enough, you will cross it. And once you cross it, you can't get back. And it's inevitable. You will hit that wall if you have an addictive personality, which I did.
That's what I was waiting to hear you say.
Yeah.
Because not everybody
has an addictive-
even gets near that wall.
No.
When did you start doing heroin? Do you remember the first time that you did it? Who turned you on to it? Why did you do it? What happened?
Heroin for me started in '84, but addiction didn't. Well, no, I was addicted in '85.
Did you know?
Oh yeah,
The first time.
first time. Ultimate painkiller. Killed every doubt I ever had. It was there. So why would you not do that? Makes sense to me. Made a lot of sense at the time. Of course, we don't know how that car race ends when we're right there.
Right.
You know, it ends in a major collision. So the first time I did heroin was with Robin Crosby, who was my
Rat.
best friend from Rat.
Round and round, we'll never find a way, just give it time. Round and round, what comes around goes around, I'll tell you why.
And it was one of the things that we did a lot. And we did all the coke, we did all the pills, we did all the girls, we did everything. Problem was, Rat took off and Motley took off. I ended up addicted, he ended up addicted, and he was on the road and I was on the road. As Motley got bigger, he hit a wall before I did, and lost everything. Lost his wife, lost his house, lost his cars, got kicked out of his band, ended up being homeless, ended up contracting HIV. I couldn't be a friend with him anymore because I'd gotten clean. And it was heartbreaking for me because last time I talked to him, he called me up and asked me if he could borrow $10,000. And I said, you know, if you were 90 days clean, and I'll give you the money in a second, dude, but you're still using, and I know what's gonna happen. You're gonna use that money to get high, and if you die from that, I'm gonna feel like I killed you. He hung up on me. It was the last time I ever talked to him. It was heartbreaking what this drug and this addiction will do to people.
How bad did it get for you? Some of the scenes in Heroin Diaries, you talk about, you know, being in the closet and...
Well, you know, the part that really went insane was when it went from heroin to speedballs to freebase, and you go into a psychosis. And you know, Tommy's one of my dearest friends who we've raised a lot of hell together, and he wouldn't even associate with me anymore. And I was pretty much alone, except for the dealers and the hanger-oners.
You had a sort of a kind of a routine. The closet thing kind of blew my mind. You wound up...
It's not that unique. Human beings in general have rituals, and drug addicts are no different. And it just became for me from, you know, I just slowly regressed back to this closet, and I had all my paraphernalia out there, and the deeper that I went into the psychosis mostly from the cocaine. The heroin was used at that time, besides being addicted to it, was to stop the psychosis, you know, to stop seeing all this stuff.
You talked about hallucinations. Vanity would come over, and
that was a whole other, you know, experience in itself.
What was Vanity to you?
Well, Vanity was a girlfriend, but for all the wrong reasons. And we bonded over the drugs.
A different drug of choice for Vanity, though.
Yeah, she was big into freebase. She showed me how to really do it. Well, I mean, I'll give you a good example. One night, she was there for many days. It got so insane that we were in my bedroom, back to the closet, and I had the stereo on in the whole house. Morning came, the sun comes up, and talk radio starts. So now when you're out of your mind and you hear voices in the other room, so I bring out the gun, and you know, I inform these people they better get out of my house. And I unloaded a .357 through my door. And I was actually pretty good because I hit the speaker. The voices stopped. But that's the kind of insanity that we lived.
Right.
And the crazy thing is you will do it again. You will do it again and again and again. Too much madness.
Right. We're smack in the middle of probably the heaviest year of your life in terms of drug use.
The heaviest year of drug
and
use.
What are you're recording Girls, Girls, Girls.
In the song, Vince mentions in Fort Lauderdale, the Dollhouse. There's all these strip clubs. That's what the tune's about. The Body Shop in L.A., the Seventh Veil. So hopefully,
Crazy Horse in France, Paris, France.
yeah. So hopefully, we're going to go to these locations and film. You know, so that at least has something to do with the tune.
I was on a whole different level than I ever been on making record before. And let's face it, Tommy, Vince, and Nick and myself were crazy, and they were having the greatest time of their life, and I'd gone too far.
Where's the place where like all the strip clubs would be around here? Is it someone said
where can we go?
42nd
Oh,
or
Times
8th
Square,
or something?
8th Avenue.
We got nothing to do tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna go check
Show
out some
World.
places.
Show World, 8th Avenue.
Yeah, but I think
You know this
we
video
want
I
to
dig?
go. Are they pigs? I mean, they're nice-looking girls.
They were making a record, and I was falling apart at the seams. Yeah, anybody else would come into a Motley Crue session and go, wow. It was debauchery.
So, Guns N' Roses. In the book you call Slash, the little brother you never had.
He's just a great guy and truly an artist. And I had been on the Motley tour, and we had GNR open for us.
Welcome to the jungle. We take it day by day. If you want to jump on the blade, but the price you pay.
We'd gone to Japan, and we'd finished the tour, and I'd gone to Hong Kong. And I called my dealer, to meet me at the airport, and I went straight home and called Slash and a few other guys, and we went out. And then I started going, has anybody got any gear? Which was our street slang for junk. I was so out of it, where I let somebody else shoot me up, and I turned blue on the spot. And Slash passed out. My girlfriend dragged me into the shower, and Slash woke up, and he freaked out, and they called the paramedics. I was dead. I was dead, and they did the adrenaline shots. They brought me back. I went to the hospital. I pulled the tubes out of me. I pulled the needles, you know, the IVs out, and I escaped. I hitchhiked a ride home, and I did it again.
You just OD'd, you went in the hospital, you yanked everything out, fans take you home, and you shoot up again.
I shoot up again. You know, that's where my addiction had gone. So for me, that was very close, like within days of me saying, that's it. Something shifted that night for me. That was the beginning of the end on that journey.
How has it been for you to talk about this stuff? Has it been fun?
Fun, not so much, but important, yes. I write in journals all the time, and I have been for years, and it's part of clearing the tubes for creativity for me. And at that time allowed me to sort of have a relationship with pen and paper and really nobody else. Because as I was spiraling down with the addiction, as any addict does, you barricade off everybody. You push people away, and that relationship was very private.
Has it been then a therapeutic experience for you to now go through this and start to talk about it with people?
I mean, in a lot of ways it is therapeutic for somebody that might have some of the same character defects that I do. And it goes back for me. It goes way, way back, and this book has allowed me to look at that and move forward with that as just being a reality.
So is there something in that's the reason that you decided to put this incredibly personal, potentially humiliating book out?
I don't want someone to read the book and go, you know what, I think I have a problem. I want to end up like he is now and not like he was then. Deal with it now. Don't wait till you're in your late 30s.
You can't quit until you try. You can't live until you die. You can't learn to tell the truth until you learn to lie.
You had been working with these guys already who are now 6 a.m.
The thing with 6 a.m. is accidentally formed a band. We were really all three producers and songwriters that said, let's do the most important piece of music of our careers. It was very personal, and that's probably one of the most exciting creative times of my life.
Is it your idea to do this? To say, yeah, I got this manuscript, it's going to be chapters when it comes out?
We all said, let's just take a blank canvas and just paint each chapter as it comes, and with these big heavy guitars in the middle of it and narration on some songs. Musically, it was just wide open.
I know some things that you don't. I've done things that you won't. There's nothing like a trail of blood to find your way back home.
It has a middle, beginning, and end, and it has an arc, and it has a story, and you can follow a character. That, to me, was so exciting.
The first single, called Life is Beautiful.
It talks about reflection and where you're at now. It's a really powerful song.
I just saw the video for the first time, and I guess it's like the graphics for the book when it comes out, right?
Right.
Describe that.
Sitting down with Paul Brown, who's an amazing director and photographer and an artist, me diving into my archives and finding personal photos, and him doing research, and it came to life visually. You know, the words are there and the visual came to life. It was just a given that we wanted the video to look like the book and the album and the websites, and it's conceptual. It's a feeling.
You call it an art project. It's great. It's like all media.
It is. It's all media.
My funeral, just open your eyes, just open your eyes and see that life is beautiful.
And where does that leave Motley Crue? I thought that you guys...
I'm always writing. Me and Mick are getting together here in a couple months, and we're going to start compiling all of our ideas. Sometime next year, we'll cut a record. You know, Motley Crue. I always get to do Motley Crue. I see no reason why I can't. I love the guys in the band. We'll make great music.
Let's forget about Motley Crue for the moment.
Okay.
This project, man. This is clearly so dear to your heart. It's obviously it's your story. It's incredibly personal. It's about a triumph. I mean, there really is this incredible Hollywood ending to this story. You're sitting here.
Yeah, I'm not here to preach sobriety. I'm not here to preach anti-drug use. I'm not here to stand on a soapbox. I'm here to say, hey, this is my story, and with my story, we're going to give back. And I have a destination message, which ends at the Covenant House.
Yeah.
And we're going to build a music program, and these kids that are on the street that really have a hard time, if I can raise awareness for Covenant House, and the charity that I have in Covenant House called Running Wild in the Night, which is a music program, it's a win-win for me. Songs are done, the book is done, the charity's set up, the money's coming in, the money's going out. Can you imagine someday you're sitting here and you're doing an interview with a guy who's in the biggest band in the world, and he goes, I went through the music program at Covenant House, and now I'm this influence on all these people, and you'll be sitting here doing an interview with one of those kids someday.
I
guarantee it. I guarantee it. I could see it.
You can sort of hear it in your voice and see it in your eyes when you talk about what's going on right now, when you talk about the book and the record, certainly. There's something else that's going on for you that maybe has never really happened before, it seems. This is a moment in your life creatively that you've never felt like this, it seems like. So
No, never.
when you do check out, how do you want to be remembered? What do you want people to say about you?
I'd feel really good. They said the guy was honest. Just honest in everything he did.
I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.